Hi. So many of you know that I have been on a trip to Belize. The purpose was to gather codes from different sacred sites and to pick up ascension keys. And these come into our forms, and if we have the appropriate lock, it unlocks them. But there was also work with the crystal pyramids. And I started working with the crystal pyramids in 2021, and I did work during the solstice in December off Roatan Island in Honduras. And then, there really wasn't a whole lot coming in about the crystal pyramids after that. But then, I guess December of 2023, it started coming back in again. And I had a trip planned to do a retreat in Roatan in January. And I was like, okay, well, here we are again, and I will work on it in January of 2024. And so while I was in Roatan, I understood then that that was like the precursor, but that the work that really needed to be done was in Belize. And I was shown different things, but it's almost like receiving glimpses, and the human mind wants to put together a map of how everything fits together, and sometimes that map is accurate and sometimes it's not. So my plan was to spend the equinox out on the water and activate the crystal pyramids. But yesterday morning and yesterday was supposed to be a day of rest for me. So for those of you that have been following along with the Path of the Mayan, you know that I have been going nonstop, and it's been incredible amounts of energy. And then in dream time, I've been working with the crystal skulls. So it really feels to me like it's full on. It's just full on, and I am feeling where I am I'm tired. I'm really tired. So I wanted a day of rest before I go into the equinox, before I go into the big healing. But yesterday morning we get this phone call, and it's from this captain, and he is saying, well, his charter for that day had canceled. Did we want it? And that, like looking at the weather, there was, some wind issues that were going to come in later during the week. And immediately my body was like, we need to take this. And so we took it, and we go out, and my first place of snorkeling, sometimes when I'm snorkeling, I close my eyes and I start actually working while I'm snorkeling, which is, kind of funny, but I love the water so much. And I kept seeing a turtle shell. And then it would go, like there was gold energy that would go up the spine of the turtle shell, and then it would go along the outside, and it would just light up. And I'm not really understanding, because it was a turtle shell. It wasn't like I was seeing a turtle. And so I was kind of like, I don't really know what this means, but okay. And at one point I was like, am I looking at a mask? And I'm not understanding. So then we get to the next snorkel location, and I see the same thing. So when I get back into the boat, I asked the captain, and I had shared with him, he had asked us what we did, and I had shared with him, what I do, what my work is, and he thought that was fascinating. He's got, a Mayan friend that's a healer, and I said to him, I've got a really weird question for you. I was like, is there any place that's like named turtle, or some place where we can go swim with turtles? I was like, I keep seeing this. And he goes, well, there is a place. He said, but, it's a little bit out of the way, and it would change our lunch plans. And he said, if we can get into this one particular location, he said, then it's doable. And he's like, so let's just try. So we go, and we're going, and he goes, okay, we're going to Reiki. And I'm like, Reiki? And it turned out to be Ray's key, C-A-Y-E, but the locals call it a key instead of a K. And I'm like, as soon as he gets out of the boat to go check and see if we get into the restaurant, I'm like, we're going to be able to get in. I mean, I just knew it. And so he comes back, he's like, we got in. They're usually reservation only, but they're letting us in. Fantastic. So we go and have a great lunch. And then that put us a little bit later in the afternoon, and he said that, most of the boats are already back in, and we had done a full day. And, he said, so I know a place to where the fishermen clean fish and conch. And so we head there, and he said, there's always something here. There's always something, a sea turtle or something. Holy cow. There were giant sea turtles. I've never seen any so big. 3 to 4 feet. There was a stingray that was probably 5 foot in diameter. There were eagle rays. There were nurse sharks. And there was one that constantly kept coming up to all of us for pets. It was like, here we are, we're all touching this nurse shark. And it would just come back around and it would swim to each one of us. And so once I got over like the amazement and the shock, I heard very clearly, open, give them the codes, and let them take it to the crystal pyramids. Because I don't know where the crystal pyramids are. I have an idea, but the ocean is humongous. So I started to open, and I filled with light, and I started just giving. And all of a sudden, this sea turtle comes up under me and pops up and stares me straight in the face. It scared the living crap out of me. But because I was like, oh, they can bite. If you're in their way, they can give you a nudge like, hey, move. And I didn't want to be bitten, and I didn't want to be intrusive either. But this guy came up underneath me, popped up, and then looked at me. And there was this moment of eye contact that was just absolutely incredible. And I knew in that moment that the work was done. That everything that I had done, everything that had been gathered, everything was given, and that they would take it. And it was one of those times when you're like, okay, you know what? I'm on the right path. I'm on the right track. Everything that I received, even though I've been doing this for years, I have these moments of where I'm like, am I making this up? Am I off my rocker? And you have these incredible encounters, whether it's with another human or in this case with, water creatures. And you just know that it's all real and that we are doing this. We are truly doing this. And I feel so incredibly blessed to be able to assist in this way. And even though, it's like I said, I'm tired. And yet I'm like, it's okay. It's okay because there's purpose and it's beautiful. And so I wanted to take a moment to share with you that the crystal pyramids have received the codes and that we are officially entering the next stage of ascension, of evolution. This is really body intensive. We're going to have to do a lot of self-care, a lot of taking care of ourselves. There's no dragging another human being along, period. You will just drag yourself under. So I want to share with you that. And I also want to say for those of you that signed up for the Path of the Mayan or signed up for the Equinox Healing, which I will get to later this afternoon, thank you. Your signing up funds the availability for me to do this. So this is a group effort. This is not me doing this on my own. I carry each of you with me because I am incredibly grateful because I can't do this alone. We're not meant to do this alone. We're meant to support each other and love each other. And for the ones that are supposed to go and carry the codes so that they can do it. So thank you. I can't express enough how grateful I am for all of you, for this experience, for these moments. I brought my nephew with me on this trip. And This morning he was just looking at me and I said, "Can you believe that this happened?" And he said, "No. It's there's no words for this trip. The serendipities, the people we have met, the ones that are saying, 'Hey, when you bring a group back to Belize, hit me up. I'll help you.' My heart is full. My heart is full. And I'm so full of gratitude for this life and this experience, even when it's not always easy. So I hope that you all have a beautiful equinox. I'm going to leave the registration open for probably a couple more hours. I'm really recouping my energy before I begin that. I had, like I said, I expected yesterday to be a day of rest. And the universe said, yeah, no, and that's not what you're doing. So I am spending the day today recouping, and I will begin that healing probably closer to the actual equinox time. So maybe that's just the way it was meant to be. So if you still want to get into that healing, that's great. But have a beautiful, beautiful day.